Yeah, I want to welcome our viewers to a real special podcast because we have two people that showed up pretty much at the same time. Now, Crystal, I want you to get used to a little bit different format. We're going to be talking not only the health and exercise and the fitness, but the mindset. Because if you get your mind in a better position, you generally start prioritizing things. So, Crystal, for people that haven't heard you before, tell them who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
Uh, well, my name is Crystal. People call me Coach Crystal, and I hail from Ohio, and I live in Powder Springs, and we have a clinic in Marietta, and it's a health and wellness clinic. And in that clinic, we help people uncover and discover a better version of themselves by improving their health. And that's in the area of weight loss, nutrition, understanding how their body works, reducing stress, and improving habits so that they can live their best life.
I love that. Those that haven't heard your story, and I will say that your story was communicated back to me months ago, and it was a simple one. And I think I want our viewers just to kind of understand simple stories get past. So you have a mom who wasn't exactly mobile or active.
Correct.
Take our viewers through what that journey was like with your mom.
Sure. So my background is I'm a speech language pathologist, and I worked in the healthcare industry for several years. And so I would see a lot of patients coming in with all types of comorbidities, high blood pressure, diabetes, all types of heart issues, which led them to have a stroke or a heart attack and would change their life drastically. And so having a mom who really didn't embrace working out, it concerned me. And I always worked out all of my life. And I have three brothers, and they were very active as well. And my father, before he passed, was a very active man and really promoted fitness. And so after my father passed away, I really focused on my mom with regards to kind of encouraging her to work out. And we would give her all these types of, incentives, whether it be a new equipment piece of that she'd say, I swear, if you get me this bike, I'm gonna ride it, and it would sit in the garage. And so I decided to go to the gym with her. And what I discovered is that she was very uncomfortable in that space and really didn't know how to access the equipment in a way that would be beneficial for her. And so we made a pact that we would start together and kind of forge this journey of fitness together. And in her 70s, she started to go to the gym on a consistent basis and then fell in love with it. And for me, it was an eye-opening moment because I figured that, my mom is not an anomaly. There's a lot of people just like her who never really had fitness as a part of their day-to-day life and really didn't see the importance of it. And because of that, they really didn't try to go down that path because of the unknown, how uncomfortable it was for them. And just not having the support they needed to walk them through those doors those first couple of times or couple months for that matter. And so I became a fitness instructor and a health and wellness coach. And she was the initiative of me to start doing that.
That's good to hear. What do you think, like in those first month or two, were there any like mental gymnastics that you had to take your mom through, like, I don't feel like going today, or what she would push back a little bit? Because anytime you embark on a new habit, there's a resistance.
Absolutely. I think being a therapist for so many years really helped me a lot with dealing with my mom, because anytime you're doing something new or uncomfortable and somebody's trying to coach you through it, it's very important that they're sensitive to when to push and when to hold back a little bit. And for her and for most people, for anybody, it's about getting started. and going slow and letting people progress at a level of their skill set. And for her, it was when we first started for the first 2 months, we didn't go to the machines. We just went to one little room. And we didn't even use any type of weights at all. We just worked on our balance. We just worked on stretching. We just worked on her connecting her mind and her body together, breathing, her being able to be comfortable in that space. And as she'd walk in, you would see week after week, she would get a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more confident as well. And then we started to build. And I remember wanting her to take ownership of it. So when we started a routine, like every week, I'm like, what do we do next, Mom? I don't know. You need to own this. What's the next move? And then she would take it on for herself, where she didn't need me to be guiding her as much. And she started to have an increased level of self-efficacy, where she was like, hey, I can actually do this. And today, she goes to the gym. She lives in Ohio without me. Sometimes she goes with her buddies. She has a buddy system, which I think is really important to have. But when that person can't show up, she's not going to miss her day, because she has now adopted not only a mindset of the benefits of working out, but she sees herself as somebody who is healthy. And because you're healthy, you go to the gym, whether your friend shows up or not.
Yeah, I love that. So today, when your communication with your mom, is there things brought up about health and fitness more than, say, it was years ago? Is that, I guess where I'm trying to ask you is her mindset now versus back then?
Absolutely. It's phenomenal how much it's changed. When I pick up the phone to call her, oftentimes she starts out with telling me how many steps she did that day, whether it was she met her goal or she didn't. She's like, I only did this many and I wanted to do this many, but tomorrow I'm going to make sure I do this many. And it always filters over into nutrition now too. She said, last week I had some fried chicken and I had a cake, and I know that was, I fell off the wagon a little bit, but I'm getting right back on again. So this thing called health and wellness is a journey, and it's not linear, which means that there's going to be days where I hit it right on the target. And then there's other days where I miss, but it's the knowledge, it's the mindset of knowing that what I want for my life, I'm going to constantly strive to improve to get there. And when I fall off the wagon, I know the difference. I know how my body feels when I don't work out, and I don't like the way that feels. I know what my body feels like when I put good nutrition in versus poor nutrition. And there's days where it's okay to have a cheat day or a day that you indulge in the things you like, but your normal consistency is based on choices that you make to always be improving your health and challenging yourself.
That's awesome. I want to go back to your classes at the community center. And so they were provided by Kennesaw, and they were free classes. So, we had a lot of ladies from Overture that would go over there. And of course, they were telling positive stories about you and the impact you had. So let's fast forward through that. Now you're over here at Overture. You're in a time slot, 9:00 in the morning, that I guess we kind of consider it now. This is the time that people would pay, because we have 11:00 where they can get the free. Where I'm going with this question is, investing in yourself is an important concept. What do you say to a person that, has been going free, and then all of a sudden it's now a decision that they have to make themselves to say, I'm going to give Crystal whatever. I don't even know what you do. I mean, I don't know what the cost is. Can you share it maybe?
Sure. So, when they went to Kennesaw, it wasn't free. They had to pay at Kennesaw.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't,
I wasn't aware of that.
It wasn't a free service. What I say to people, first of all, I have a level of empathy and understanding for people when it comes to paying for something that they really didn't see as valued even growing up, right?
Mhm.
If you look at a person, oftentimes they gauge what is valued on what their environment or what their experience has been. So most people that probably live here who have had parents and grandparents, their parents didn't go to the gym. Their grandparents didn't go to the gym. They didn't have personal trainers. And oftentimes it was because there was a lack of funds or it just wasn't a priority. And
Mhm.
so the thought of paying for something like that I really didn't grow up experiencing is a little odd for them, right? It's a little daunting. I mean, even with my mom, we paid for her a personal trainer and she's like, how much did you pay for this? Right.
Yeah, I've heard
And
that.
then once she started going and she saw the value of it, it wasn't even a hesitation, because at the end of the day, if we take this in real life terms,
Mhm.
if I had a car and my car broke down and I took it to a mechanic and they said it's going to cost whatever, $500 to fix, you wouldn't hesitate to fix it because you need your car.
Right.
Right. If there was something that went wrong in my house or I wanted an upgrade in my house and a contractor came out and said, this is how much it's going to cost, you would say, I want this. So the bottom line is that we pay for what we value.
Mhm.
What we need to do is understanding what the value is for me getting my body and maintaining my body at a level of health that is going to propel me to be able to do the things that I want to do. Keeping good health opens the door for you to stay independent, to be able to experience life, your best life, without, the added pressure of ailments that happen when we don't make our bodies work for us the way that it is designed to work for us. So I would say to people who come to my class, what are you're doing, what you said, it was a really key word. You are investing in yourself. And if you don't invest in yourself, then you can't be your best self, not only for yourself, but for other people that you love in your life.
Right. And really, I like to kind of frame it, because this is a mindset podcast. And so I want our viewers to really understand the gymnastics that we go through on our own rationale of things. Like, I totally agree with we value what was it? We value what we what was it you just said? We pay for what we
Yes,
value.
we pay for what we value.
Okay. So in this case, your experience, I always like to take it to the person that you're valuing your dollar with.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't start this yesterday.
No.
Your journey, I mean, and you even had when we, I don't know, a month ago, you had given me that book Mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of triggered in my mind that you value mindset.
Absolutely.
And I've always kind of felt that way. So you get validation. So people are investing in not only the journey of getting fit, but the journey that you've been on for years, that you have invested in making sure you can encourage and you can support and you can. I like it when tell our viewers, like, you give every person, they grab a nickname.
Yes.
So why do you do that?
You know what? Here's the thing. Everything in life starts with a thought. What do I think about myself? Right. And when we start with a thought, in fact, every day we have about 6,000 thoughts that run through our head. Mm-hmm. And we all know that we have thoughts that are positive and we have thoughts that are negative. And those thoughts, whether positive or negative, are going to show up in our daily life. Who we choose or what we choose to listen to is the one that I'm going to grow and become. And so that's why in my class, everybody has a name, from, encourager to warrior to fighter to awesome, because I want you to speak out what it is that is inside of you. And I want you to own that, because a thought will change into an action, and an action will change into something that I will start to believe. And then once I believe it, then it becomes my reality. And so that kind of rotation of thinking something and then acting it out, and then my behaviors change, and then my belief system changes, is this wonderful circle. And we have to continue to bathe ourselves in the things that we are speaking over ourselves, because the more that we speak it, the more that we're going to act it out, the more that our behaviors are going to change, and then that becomes our new self. And so that's why I think it's important, because oftentimes when we talk about mindset, many people have a fixed mindset. And we spoke on that a little bit, where somebody said something to us about ourselves, and we don't take time to investigate that. Could it be something more or different or even better? And so we settle into this framework of what we're believing for ourselves. And there's more out there. The parameters are wider. But if we don't take a moment to challenge that, could I grow? Could I learn? Could I experience something different? Yes. But it takes a little bit of courage. And sometimes that's where a coach comes along. It takes some support to get from point A to point B.
I love that. What would you say to our listeners? Your journey, at what point in your life did you say, mindset's important, my health is important, how I make decisions is important? Did you, was it when you were a kid, or give them a little idea when you started this journey of prioritizing, like we've talked about?
Yeah, I think it's an evolution, right? I don't think there's a particular time, but I could just remember, to be honest, I think for a lot of my life, I've had a fixed mindset, where I've even put myself in a box of saying, this is the parameters that Crystal can work into. And I just believe that God will give all of us an opportunity to see another level of ourselves. And at that moment, it's a choice. And you can choose to take that mindset, growth mindset mentality on and take the risk and try, or you can stay safe. And I think if you give yourself an opportunity to take that first step, and if you fail, that's okay, but you took the first step, and then you take a second step. And then as you start to grow in that, you start to maybe discover that maybe there's something more. Maybe what my teacher in school told me, that I wasn't smart, isn't true about me. Maybe my friends that said I'll never be an athlete, or I won't be strong enough, or I'm never going to be able to go to the gym because you'll never lose weight, maybe that's not true about me. And so when you start to not only think differently, but put yourself in the proximity of other people, like-minded people who are trying and striving just like you are, then it starts to change the trajectory of how you think about yourself. And then you make decisions that line up to that. So, once I start to say, I really want to improve my health, well, then maybe I won't order pizza 3 times a week. Maybe I'll just order it 1 time a week, right? And then maybe instead of sitting on the couch, maybe I'll get up and go for a walk on a Sunday afternoon versus watching a movie. It's just making small choices every single day that starts to line up with the things that you want to value more. Because sometimes it's just because we just didn't know that that's something we should value. And then once we start to understand that it's important, then we start to move our priorities in that direction as well.
I love it. You mentioned the support system and surrounding yourself with like-minded people. What do you do on a regular basis to put yourself in a position that I truly believe you're influenced by the people you surround yourself with? So how do you do it personally? Do you have a group of people that think like you, or do you seek them out? Tell our viewers kind of like a little bit of, if they are in a environment that they're not happy with, what do you do on a regular basis?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think it's like, where do you find your tribe, right? Where do you find those people? And I think that again, like there are some people I have found that start on this journey and they have a friend who maybe not have started on that journey, but they partner together like, hey, I want to do this health and wellness. Would you be willing to partner with me in doing it? I also think that there's like levels, right? I feel like in life, should have 3 different types of people in your life. You should have people like the ones I just said that are like, listen, we're trying to do this together. Let's walk this journey together. And then you have people that are your mentors. Those are people that are already doing what it is that you are doing. And they're mastering it. And so you surround yourself with that. That could be a fitness coach, right? That could be somebody who is a nutritionist. That could be somebody who already has a fitness establishment or team together. And then you come alongside them. And then I think the third group is the people who need mentoring. So you see, a friend of yours who you know they're struggling with their health. And so you go back and you say, hey, we're trying to do this. Why don't you come along with me? Or it's benefiting me and it might benefit you as well. So in our lives, we should have somebody that we're mentoring, somebody that is our team player, and somebody that we need mentoring from. If you get that village around you, it will definitely help you any type of journey that you're trying to elicit change.
I love it. I haven't heard it explained like that. So I really, my brain wraps around simple things. And I can definitely wrap around that concept. As we wind down, I want to be respectful, one, of you getting to your class on time, because the worst thing you ever want to do is be late and you're the teacher.
They literally will let
you wouldn't have a chance. So, but touch on it briefly. You had, before we went on the air and before, I think we touched on it last time, you have gone through some disciplines with fasting and some things that have helped you in that health arena. So why do you do that? What was the reason behind doing those things that you were describing to me? And maybe tell our viewers what you were talking about.
Yeah, I just got off of a 21-day fast. It's a spiritual fast, but it's also a mental fast too. And I feel that the reason why I fast is to reset. Oftentimes, even in my profession as a health and wellness person, I slip back, right? I get complacent. I need a new challenge. And so when I went on this 21-day fast, it's a time for me to learn more about listening to God, what he's saying to me, listening to Crystal, what her thoughts are, how is she feeling, starting to reevaluate what I want for the next quarter of my life, and what that's going to look like, and just being still. And Pete, you and I were talking about the fact that sometimes when you take those distractions out of your life, you can think clearer, you can be more creative, and you can be more intentional about the things that you're about or what you want to get accomplished in this next quarter of your life. I want to say that one of my takeaways, which were many out of my 21 days of fasting, is that when I started to eliminate some of my favorite foods or the things I like to watch, it really gave me an insight of how really difficult it is to change behaviors. And so when somebody comes and wants me to work with them as a health coach or as a fitness coach, I have a greater level of empathy of what they're attempting to embark upon. If you've always struggled with food or you've always struggled with exercise and you're coming into a space where you know it's something you haven't been victorious over in the past, it really takes a lot of needed support to get there. Those day in and day out decisions that you make that are changing the trajectory of your life, really changing your identity. That's what I'm asking you to do, to find a new you. And that takes a lot of not only intentional mindset thinking, but it takes a level of discipline, and being able to see yourself in another space, even though you're not there yet. Like you're working on losing weight, and every time you step on the scale, it's not moving. But I've just been eating carrots for a whole week or whatever it is. Keeping that consistency until those things start to show up on the scale or in your waistline or whatever. How do I stay consistent with that until I start to see the fruits of that? I've gained a greater sense of empathy and sympathy and compassion for people who are on this journey to change their life. And it is one that you have to walk in with a sense of courage and determination. But I want to come alongside you and help you in the best way I can.
Well, that's well explained, because it's so important to have that kind of mindset. So tell our viewers, like, one, you teach here at Overture.
I do.
So give them an idea what this class is about, the time, and any information that would be helpful. And before you do that, I want to share with our viewers, if you have people you want to share this with, because Crystal does have the mindset journey down. I mean, I've been around a lot of people, and I can kind of tell the difference of the mindset versus people that don't focus intentionally on the mind. So just give our viewers an idea of what the class you're teaching, and so they can take advantage of it.
Sure. First of all, Pete came to one of my classes. He came at the end. Really proud of how well he did. And he's a very busy man. You're very, very busy, but hopefully you can come for a whole class and kind of get the whole experience of what we do in the class. But I teach a whole body class, which means that at the end of the class, hopefully every aspect of your body will be challenged in a way that you'll walk away to improve functionality in your day-to-day life. That's really what it's all about. So at the beginning of the class, we always take an assessment of how everybody's feeling, because sometimes people come in and they're like, Crystal, I'm just happy to be here, right? So I'm a 1. And there's some people who come in and they're like, from a scale on 1 to 10, I'm a 10. I'm feeling really good. So we just need to kind of get an idea of where people are starting out that day of fitness. And then we always start with a warm up, which is a stretch, and kind of just getting our minds and our bodies kind of zoned into what we're going to be doing for this next hour. And then we have blocks. The first block typically is a cardiorespiratory block, where we're kind of raising our heart rate, getting our lungs and our hearts to kind of be a little taxed. And then from that block, we do a lower body, which is working on our legs, which is very important for balance and agility. And then we go to an upper body block, which is our legs our arms, getting them strong. And then we always do a core, and that's with our abs. And then we cool down. Now, every one of our weeks, it's going to be a different challenging exercise that we do. So we're always challenging our brain. So on Monday, I introduce a new fitness activity. And then on Wednesday, you have a chance to practice it again. But then the next Monday, it's something totally different. So this Monday, we did a circuit. So I brought a boxing little machine, and I bought a medicine box and ball, and a stepper. So they all had to do something different, and they challenged themselves. And to see these women, it's pretty spectacular to see how they have progressed in such a very short period of time. And every time they show up, they're getting better, not only in the exercise, but their mindset. They're picking up the routines faster. They're getting stronger, and they're really enjoying the process. Any type of workout, it is going to be challenging, but you should have fun doing it. And if you're not having fun doing it, then maybe that's not the form of exercise that you should be doing, because you want to incorporate it into your life. Even if it's challenging, if at the end of the day and at the end of every one of our sessions, they have to readdress, where are you leaving today? If you started at a 5, most people, they always go up.
Mm-hmm.
They're always like, I'm leaving on a 9 today. So leaving better than what you came is my goal.
Yeah, I love the regular assessments, because you can't tell if you're progressing if you don't assess whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter whether it's the exercise part or anything. You have to have that assessment. I agree there. So tell our viewers how they would get a hold of you, and then we'll have one more question for you.
Okay. So I'm here on Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 to 10. So if you can just pop in, but you can give me a call. My phone number is 330-646-3595. And our office is in Marietta. And there you can get that information. Our office address is 3020 Roswell Road, and we're in Unit 120. And you could always find Pete. What I found out is Pete knows everybody. So he knows everybody.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, he knows everybody. So I'm always available after class or before class if you had any questions about what it is that we do during our class.
Awesome. We'll put it in the show notes too. So if you're driving, we want you to focus on your driving. Please. Don't be jotting down anything. Just go in the show notes. So what would you want today? I mean, we touched a lot of good subjects. What would be the one thing you want our listeners to take home from the podcast today?
I would say that living your best life is not easy, but it is worth the investment that you make. And I would challenge everybody today that during this week, do something that challenges your mind, do something that challenges your thought life, and do something that challenges your physical body. Start small, but start with something. Be consistent and be kind and patient with yourself in the process.
Wow. In baseball terms, you just knocked it out of the park. So golfer terms, that was a hole in one.
All right.
Or a long putt made when somebody calls it, who the next guest called the putt of the century. So we have a special guest coming on after this. But Crystal, thank you so much for spending time with us. Absolutely. We enjoyed it.